The Real Reason Dating is Broken by Max Fisher. By the way, just before I start, I think Max is a journalist from the US and I think he's left leaning, right? So I like reacting to both left and right leaning people, well, creators, because, well, my opinions are a mix of left and right, depends on the topic, but just so you know, there might be some bias. I always add this. When I'm reacting to somebody who I know, talks a lot about some politics, I always mention this. But I think I'm gonna agree with most of the stuff he's gonna say.
There's this one part of modern
Plus,
life
he's a
that people
journalist.
are absolutely
He knows
fed up
more
with,
than me.
maybe even as much as politics or the economy, even though it's something that's supposed to be fun and joyful. I am referring to dating.
I'm okay with not dating for the rest of my life.
You look happy.
Whoa.
Yeah, thanks. I stopped dating.
I'm done with dating.
Zero interest in dating.
Dating is so trash. I just went on the worst date in U.S. history.
If this guy is like, if his dating life sucks,
Not just
No hope for
like
me.
vibes. This shows up in the data. Check this out. In 2020, Pew asked thousands of single Americans about their experiences. When asked how their dating life was going, 67% said not too well or not well at all, to only 33% who said very or fairly well. And when asked about finding people they even wanted to date, only 25% said it had been easy compared to 75.
I want to see men's graphs because a lot of men might be going on a lot of dates, but how many of those days do they really want to go on dates? How many of those women? Because they'd rather just go out with somebody and fuck somebody just to not be alone, you know? Women aren't like that, but men are more like that.
Called it difficult. It's really bad. And this is new. When Pew asked how this compared to 10 years ago, 47% said it had gotten harder, to only 19% who said it got
Agreed.
easier, and the rest saying it was the same. And you might think, oh, I get it, it's the apps. But look at this survey of high school seniors going back to 1976, asking if they ever go on dates. Back in the 70s and 80s, almost 90% said yes. But then it started to decline in the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s. Now, only 46% of high school seniors have dating lives, less than half. If you dig into the numbers,
Yeah, that
this
seems
romantic
realistic.
recession-
I used to date all the time when I was in like high school and college. Didn't finish college, by the way, but I dated way more. Now I just use Instagram and usually the gym, and I have way more success when I just go up to girls in the gym or the park. I usually don't like going to clubs or bars, and I don't think that's a good idea to where to approach women or men.
is hitting young people, older people, the well-off and the struggling, people who use dating apps, and people who have never opened one. This is something deeper that has changed. This chart shows the percentage of all adults who live alone. It is way
Okay.
up. So is the percentage of young adults who've had no sex in the last year. It's almost double.
Insane.
And the percentage of adults who have sex regularly, at least once a week, is way down, almost half. More and more people are never partnering up at all, to the point of crashing birth rates. And that's not just in the US. This is everywhere. Here's the percentage of young adults aged 25 to 34 married or cohabitating. The blue line is for Latin America, and the red line is for the Middle East. Two very different places, same
Yeah, so
big
you
trend.
can't just blame it on left-leaning or right-leaning agendas or the West or wokeness or culture. No, there's something happening clearly. And everywhere, not just in poorer countries, but even in Western and rich and Eastern rich and poor countries, there's the stuff we have as the same is everybody's struggling financially, everybody is somehow more selfish, and everybody is not having kids. And I'm not saying everything is about finances, but it probably has something to do with
Here,
it.
this chart tracks
Maybe
women
partially.
in South Korea going back to
Mostly.
the 60s. The red line shows the percentage who reach 40 never having married. And the green line shows the percentage who never have kids. And look, if not partnering up is your choice, God bless. Great, live your truth. But what these
Yeah.
surveys tend to find is people do want a partner. They do want a family. They just can't get there because dating doesn't work for them anymore. And the question we're going to ask today is why. And this is one of those things I know where everybody has a theory, everybody has a take, because we've all lived it in one form or another.
Dating
Yep.
apps have absolutely ruined dating.
Social media is literally ruining dating.
We swipe people all day long like we're window shopping.
Dating is boring and men are not interesting.
Women's standards today are completely unrealistic.
But we want to understand this systemically, the big structural causes that might be harder to spot. So we are going to answer this question. Why is dating
Okay,
broken?
I'm interested.
Why do we
I
also
wanna know.
hate it rigorously? with hard data. So before we get started, just a quick aside. About half of this video is going to focus on dating between men and women. And that's not because that's quote unquote the default or anything like that. It's because that is the kind that is most in crisis right now. But there's a lot of...
Yeah, because that's the kind that makes, like, lets society continue. I've got nothing against anybody else with a different sexuality. You know, live your freaking life. I've got a bisexual friend. I wish I was bisexual. That he is living the life. But straight couples are what creates more people in society continuing. Now, if people are evil or good or bad for the planet, that's a different topic. That's a whole
universal
different
too,
topic.
And that'll be the other half of the video. I just want to acknowledge that up front so nobody feels left out. Good? Good.
Nobody
we
cares,
will
man.
eventually
Come on.
wind our way to dating apps. I think their role is kind of overstated, but there is this one super specific, super overlooked effect they have that I want to talk about. We'll also look our growing culture of isolation, why changes in how we live are leading to changes in how we think and behave, which are making us all find dating a
I've
lot
noticed
harder
that, yeah.
and less appealing. And yeah, we are going to talk about men. Fellas, we collectively are
Let's
going through
go!
right now. But remember, we're using hard numbers to talk about all this rigorously, not as
I
a
mean,
blame or as
I
a-
wish he talked about men and women, but I don't care. I'm a man. I'd love to hear them.
thing. And in that same vein, we are going to start with women who.
Oh,
are at the
okay.
heart of the story. And it
Never
really
mind
comes
then.
through when you dig deeper into that
Nice.
data from the start of the video. All right, remember this Pew study? They also asked people who are trying to date what's hardest about it. 35% of men said it was finding someone who meets their expectations. But women
Really?
were nearly twice as likely to give the same answer, 56%.
There we go. Yep.
And go back to that survey tracking high school seniors from 1976 to today. It also asked whether they expect to get married one day. Boys have shown a modest decline in the last 20 years. But look at the girls.
I think marriage is dumb. I can be with somebody for my whole life. I'll get married if she wants to, but wasting money on marriage and weddings, I think it's dumb. It's just so stupid. It's just a made up. Okay, if you're Christian, I get it. Full respect. I just wouldn't do it. I don't care about it. I don't need to sign a document to know that I'll be with my whole life with this girl, right? But yeah,
Huge
if she
drop.
wants to do it,
Well
I'll do
below
it for
the
her.
boys. And that's just since 2010. Now let's look at high school seniors' belief that they will have kids one day. Boys, again,
Okay.
slight decline. Girls, big drop. And if you're
Damn.
thinking, well, maybe the girls want to partner up, but they're
Still
just
above 50
pessimistic,
though.
or they think marriage is outdated.
That
the survey
surprises
also
me.
asked whether they think they will even want a lifelong mate, married or not. And yeah,
Yeah.
boys, again, slight dip. Girls dropping hard and fast.
What?
No sign of slowing.
No freaking way.
One last data point. This is from a 2023 survey on attitudes on, yes, dating. One of the things it asked about was young people's interest in dating at all. 52% of men said yes, about half.
Okay.
Compare that to only 36% of women, just 1
Really?
in 3. And this gap.
I don't know, man. Maybe if you... I think the older people get, the more they want to be in a relationship with somebody, and for it to be something long-term and serious. Most people that said no are probably at the lower half of this 18 to 29 range.
App seems really
My guess.
important. Shows up all over the place.
I'm
So
24,
what
by the
explains
way.
it? And the survey actually asked a bunch
I've
of
said
those
it so
women to
many
elaborate.
times.
Most cited difficulty finding someone who meets their expectations. But what's especially interesting
Okay.
is how they define that. Less as a laundry list of must-have qualities than a basic standards for how
That's the biggest difference. From what I've noticed, and this is mostly coming from Western countries, like for some reason, like I'm not the best looking guy. I'm pretty, like, my face is like a 4 out of 10, I'd say. And I've had some success. Yeah, I work out, I go to the gym. I'm not the best looking guy. I don't have like the genetics of a god. I'm average when it comes to body genetics. And also, my personality, fucking dry and boring as fuck. Hence why I'm not successful on fucking YouTube, right? But with most of the time when I ask, or what I've seen online, is women tend to have more, I'd say insane, not every, but a lot of women that go viral online that are asked about their expectations, they're very unrealistic. Probably they don't even know what are the stats of, you know, finding what is the percentage and chance of finding a guy that's that high with that money, with those looks and so on. Meanwhile, men are, they have their expectations as well, obviously. You should have some criteria. You shouldn't be just an open book for everybody. That's insane by itself. But usually men have more realistic and more, I don't know. Yeah, I can just call it realistic, and they're not as insane
Want to be treated.
of expectations.
One of them said, I don't want to be in a relationship where somebody's not open-minded about the things that I want to do. Here's another. My biggest thing
But
is
you're not open-minded to try to be with somebody who's not. I'm joking. I'm joking.
another. Men are still looking for a type of women that doesn't really exist anymore. That 1950s housewife type. Girls want to go to college. They want to have a career. They want to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, but if I've got no problem with that. I'm not looking for a trad wife. I don't care if she wants to. My goal is to make enough money myself. So if she wants to work, okay. If she doesn't, okay. But like the 1950s trad wife doesn't exist, right? Well, then the 1950s trad man, if you want to call it, the guy who works and makes more than double, or you can work, you don't have to work, and he makes everything. When you're working the same jobs as the man, and going to college is the same college as men used to go and still go and so on, why are you still expecting the man to make more? See, it's just biological stuff. It is what it is.
Really big piece
And
of
that
this.
man doesn't exist.
A lot of women,
Very
straight
rarely.
women, are giving up on dating, not because they don't want to date or they don't want romance or even because they're dissatisfied with the dates themselves, but because they are dissatisfied with how they're being treated in modern relationships. So what changed? There's this Stanford economist named Alice Evans who's written about what she calls female empowerment and the crisis of masculinity. And in short, she looked at marriage rates around the world and found that wherever women's paychecks caught up with men's, or wherever staying single into adulthood lost its social stigma, women raised their standards. Something I noticed.
Yep, that's what I said. That's literally what I just said. Men are okay with not having a trad wife. Most men, I don't care. And I don't care if my woman is making more money than me. But she does. She still wants that 1950s man. It is what it is. It is what it is. And even if the man makes 3 times more, like if you make 50K and he makes 150, still everything is. I mean, you're gonna live an okay life, pretty average. What should be average, and what should be a middle class life in the U.S. You'll have more than enough money if you're smart with it, but everything's getting more expensive and unsafe. So. It's not just men's or women's fault,
The economists who study this talk about romantic partnerships as a kind of bargain. That's how they like to think of it, where each contributes and each gets something in return. Sort of a big trade offer, which I know that's not the most romantic way to talk about like love and family, but bear with me, it's helpful. For a long time, the exchange was this. Both provide each other with love. That's the big one. Women, for a long time, also counted on marriage to provide financial security, since they were mostly barred from getting it themselves through employment. Marriage also provided social acceptance. And I know that sounds weird today, but for a long time, women who didn't marry were shunned as pariahs, as old maids. This idea of unmarried women as outcasts was with us well through the 1990s. So marriage was a necessity for women to remain a member of society in good standing. So what did men get out of this? First, love, like we mentioned, and childcare was a big part of the bargain. Crazy labor intensive, for a long time, overwhelmingly provided by women.
I don't think childcare gets enough respect, man. Like, so many modern fourth wave feminists are hating on women who, like, no, taking care of a child is not a dumb job or unrespected. It should be very respected. It's one of the most important stuff out there, okay?
And then housework. So another form of labor that fell mostly to women.
Yeah.
And for a long time, this held. Not the fairest, not the most equitable, but it held. Mostly because it was close to the only way for women to get financial and social stability. But in the last few years, this old bargain has started to fall apart. For one, women face way less stigma for choosing to be single. Marriage is not a necessary price for social acceptance anymore.
Yep.
So we have to take this one out of the bargain. Marriage just does not provide it anymore. At the same time, women, as summed up in this Financial Times article, are starting to surpass men financially. Women are more likely than men to go to college in a lot of countries now. Look at the gap in the UK, for example. Young women are also catching up to men in employment rates, and in some places surpassing them.
Yeah, also the educational system is way better suited for the way women, I guess, educate themselves and study. I've heard of that. That's not my idea, but I've heard of that. But, you know, the education system just by itself is just shit.
Hey, women's
Very
average
old.
incomes are now higher than men's for the first time ever.
Yep.
So if we go back to that marriage bargain, it doesn't provide
Oh,
financial security.
he said incomes are higher for the first time ever. So I don't get it. All the, you know, women complaining that, you know, that there's still men making way more money than women, and there's a pay gap. Looks like there isn't, based on what he said, based on what he found.
Security to
He's a
women either,
journalist.
especially for younger women who are really likely to earn as much as men these days. So what about women's end of this bargain? Childcare and housework. Have women's
Yeah.
obligations changed to reflect that they're getting less in return? This is a recent economics paper titled, and I love this, Winning the Bread and Baking It Too. One of the things the authors found is that single women spend, on average, slightly more hours per week on housework than single men. But when they get married, women's time on housework grows to about double that of men's.
Yeah, I
If they
hate
have
that. Yeah. I know a lot of men that are like this. Like, they wouldn't mind the woman working, and a lot of them, like, I have, you know, friends that are married now. They don't have kids, but they have that mentality of, yeah, she's gonna take care of more of the kids, but like, you both have jobs. Like, what? Like, I'm gonna do the dishes sometimes, and she's gonna do the laundry, or vice versa. And sometimes I'm a gym guy, so my meals, I live alone and I cook, but the stuff I cook, insane, disgusting, but it's healthy, it's high protein, healthy fats, and all of this, right? But I would make food for her. I would clean sometimes she would for me. I don't give a fuck about a male or female role in the house. I really don't give a shit, okay? But this is insane. So if she's married and she's working, she's still gonna do most of the job and the childcare, most of the housework and childcare? No. What? How is that fair?
kids, it becomes triple or quadruple. And if you think, well, maybe that's because men are busy out making money, I've got some
No!
news for you. The study looked at how housework breaks down in opposite-sex marriages where both partners work. In homes where the
I mean,
female
if he has 2 jobs and she has 1 job, I don't know, I guess.
to male wage ratio is
Or he
between
has a
0.25
business
and 0.5,
and works
and that is
all
to
day.
say women make between 1/4 and 1/2 of what their husbands make. Women spend just over twice as many hours per week on housework as their husband.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not so surprising, right? The husband earns more at work, the wife works more at home. But let's see how
Okay.
that changes when we look at
But
couples.
he just said that now women are making more money than men. What? Maybe it depends on the jobs.
where the wage ratio is between 0.5 and 1. In other words, where the wife earns anywhere from half her husband's salary to the same amount as him. These are their hours spent on housework. It's exactly the same as that other bar chart. She's making nearly the same
Oh, I'm
salary as
wrong. I
him,
just got-
but still
I just
putting
got
in
it.
twice
Okay,
as many
oh,
hours at
okay.
home. So, okay, let's look at what happens when that wage ratio pops up to between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Household where the wife makes more than her husband, like up to twice as
My bad, I
Surely
didn't read the
they're
chart
doing
well.
equal housework. Nope. It's the same again. Nothing changes. All right, last bar. Homes where the wife earns more than twice her husband's salary. These are the high-powered executives, corporate attorneys. There's no way they're coming home and scrubbing toilets while the husband plays video games, right? Yep, they are.
Yeah, this is what I said. Yeah, okay, totally. It's totally this. I fully agree with this chart. Even if I didn't see it, I know that this is happening. I don't care who's making more money. If both people blah, 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 have a job, it's more based on how many hours you work. If you guys both work 8 hours, and if it's different shifts, great. But if it's the same shift or whatever, right? You still gotta both do the housework, okay? Maybe you're good at something else and she's good at something else, or you're both good at the same stuff and you just replace tasks for every single day. What?
And the women who literally financially support their husbands, they
what?
still do all the housework. There's a lot at play here, but mostly it comes down to social expectations. Married women are still expected to perform all the duties of a 1950s housewife while now also holding down.
I don't expect my woman to like clean or anything. I'll like hire somebody to clean my apartment or my house in the future. Hopefully, she doesn't have to do any of that. I really don't give a shit. I live alone now. Every single week there's a cleaning lady that comes because I'm a fucking idiot. And I work a lot. I work on a lot of different stuff. I don't have a job. I'm part-time gym trainer. I do some real estate with my dad now. It's not. I don't want to have time. I'd rather work all day and go to the gym and stuff, and pay somebody to clean.
And a career
I do make
as
food though.
demanding as their husbands. Getting married means their workload doubling, and their husbands getting cut in
Not
half
with me.
because now someone is bringing home a second salary and taking care of all the homework. Point is, marriage has gone from an at least sort of balanced exchange to a completely lopsided one, which is why more and more women are turning it down.
Yeah,
Especially
I don't
when
like
you
that.
Consider that research finds that single moms spend less time on housework and have more leisure time than married moms. Basically,
Yeah, this is maybe one of those articles that might be, more politically biased and might not be true. But maybe it's true, I don't know. I just question everything.
dads create more housework for their wives than they contribute.
If
In other
that's
words,
true,
women
that's
who want
insane.
Kids can sort of get a better bargain by raising them by themselves. Being a single mom is, in this particular sense, kind of a better deal. So, to take a step back,
Like, for example, my mom has a job, works 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and she does all the housework. But my dad has a business with now what I'm doing with him with real estate. Plus, he has a agricultural pharmacy business, and he basically works every day for like probably 12, 14 hours. He also has employees and shit, so I think that's fair.
marriage has gone from the only option for
And he
women
makes way
to one
more.
of several options to now one of the costliest options. So you can see why more and more women are asking, why bother with the hassle of dating at all? The end result is so unappealing. It's summed up
Yeah.
by one of my favorite
I get
headlines
it.
on this. This economist crunched the numbers and stopped dating men. To me, the person who best summed this up is a writer and actually a former colleague of mine. We co-hosted a podcast for a while named Erin Ryan. She wrote, compared to being single, men see being married with children as beneficial. Women see being married with children as detrimental.
Yeah, I see it as detrimental too. I'm sorry, I can't stand children. Maybe in the future I'll want to have children, but for now,
Men
Yeah,
want
no.
their fathers' lives, and women don't want their mothers.
I don't want my father's life.
This is a good moment to transition to men. Think back to that chart we showed earlier that young men are way more interested in dating than women are. Men still want to date and marry, but straight women increasingly choosing to stay single means that straight men are finding it harder and harder to find a mate. And as this Vox article sums up, single men are, as a result, increasingly unhappy. They're less satisfied with their lives than single women are. Research from Germany found men are now less likely to initiate breakups, too. They know how hard it is out there. Look, our culture tends to tell men one of two stories about why they're becoming lonelier and less able to find love. Story number one is to tell men that they're lonely because they're bad, to shame them.
Yep,
Story number two,
that's the modern feminist take. And some women and men are actually bad. We can't lie about it. But all men are bad. Since when did sexism get thrown out of the window? Like what? Sexism eventually just got thrown out of the window, and everybody forgot about it.
and maybe you can say where this one has
Weird.
found more purchase with men, is to tell them they're lonely because they're victims of some enemy who is out to get them. And usually that enemy is said to be women. I gotta tell
What?
you, I think it's neither of these. It's this.
Yep.
The world changed and the old bargain broke. Think back to those testimonials we heard from women who are giving up on dating. Men are still looking for a type of woman that does not really exist anymore. That 1950s housewife type woman.
Women are also looking for a type of man that doesn't exist anymore. I'm sorry, I don't know. He's not mentioning this, but that's the truth. I explained it why a few minutes ago.
This is easy enough to see when you take the 50,000 feet up, big picture, data-driven view, but that is not how most of us see the world, right? We see our individual experience and we extrapolate from that. And yeah, women are often able to see that this is about rejecting the old romantic bargain that doesn't work anymore because they're the one rejecting it. But men who are still trying to date within that bargain, they don't know that it's outdated, can misread this as being rejected personally, which makes them feel hopeless, or as losing their rightful place in society, which makes them feel aggrieved. Remember how that
Yep.
economist we heard from, Alice Evans, summed it up? Female empowerment and the crisis of masculinity, which certain online voices are taking advantage of to
Yeah,
tell men.
What's his name? Tate. I remember being at the end. I like being in college, and he was trending so much. I was banging my head against the freaking wall, seeing young men being so in tune with that guy. They wanted to be like him so badly.
That it's all proof of a feminist plot against them.
That sends
There's
some
not.
kind of a message.
There's no plot against men or against masculinity or against the family, I promise. But straight
Yep.
men who feel confused or frustrated by that old bargain failing them are internalizing those narratives that, ironically, I think probably make them even less attractive to potential romantic partners. This is a survey of how commonly men by age group agree with the statement, women seek to gain power by getting control over men. It's way, way more commonly held among younger men than men trying to date now. Or check out this survey asking...
But there's also women. I think the percentage of women saying, I'm pretty sure. Wait, what the fuck's that? I'm pretty sure that even young women would say this about men. Are we realizing that we're just getting brainwashed by some superior freaking power out there who just wants to divide us politically, this way, that way, to just destroy us because it's easier to manipulate us and make money out of us when we're not working together? Are people realizing this? No, it's not a grand conspiracy theory.
Among younger men than men trying to date now. Or check out this survey asking teenage boys whether women should even have the same opportunities as men. The share who agree completely has dropped from two-thirds a decade ago to less than half today. And the share who agree at all is down a lot too.
What? They should have the same opportunities and same consequences. Like, what?
All of which is feeding this vicious cycle where women reject the old romantic bargain, so men feel aggrieved, feel like something's being taken away from them, which leads them to try to take it back by pushing for a return to traditional gender roles, which just reinforces women's desire to reject an old model that now feels forced.
No. Am I dumb? Am I the only one who doesn't give a fuck about traditional gender roles? Yeah, there's some cool stuff from traditional stuff, but I don't care. No, I don't want her to be a stay-at-home wife all the time. I mean, if she wants to and we have the money, yeah, sure. But, that doesn't mean that, I won't pay for a cleaning lady, well, I don't know, let's say this one day so we do something together with me and her. You might be asking, why should you hire a cleaning lady when you won't be at home? Because I'm a fucking mess, okay? I'm at home for like 5 minutes and I make a worse of a mess than farm animals do. No offense to farm animals, okay?
And this is how you get a straight dating scene where everyone feels fed up, disappointed, and lonely. If all this stuff affecting dating between straight men and women did not apply to you, thank you for your patience. We are now going to talk about a whole other thing that makes dating feel harder and less rewarding for everyone. A relatively recent but very deep culture of isolation. Not loneliness. There's a difference. Loneliness is involuntary. It's when you want to be with other people but aren't. Isolation is a choice.
Yep.
This is a big story from The Atlantic last year and what the author Derek Thompson called the emerging antisocial century. It was full of stats like this one, finding that the time that we each spend hosting or attending social events is down 32%. Here's another. The average man now spends 7 hours with his TV for every 1 hour that he spends with another human being not located in his home. And it had charts like this one, showing the percentage of high school seniors who go out regularly with friends. Way, way down.
Damn. Look at freaking 2020, especially for girls. Holy shit, why did it plummet so much? This is after 2020 actually, not really in 2020. Yeah, that's insane.
I know these stats can kind of wash over you, so just think of it like this. Back then, after work activity might be going to the bar, but now it means Netflix at home. Dinner that might have once been cooking or eating out with friends is now DoorDash burrito for one. And weekends that used to be for parties, do you remember those? It's where this meme is from. People used to go to these all the time.
Yeah.
Honestly. Ask your parents. Anyway, now it's weed gummies and DoorDash and Netflix.
Yeah.
Kids, meanwhile, who used to spend all their free time in unstructured play, are now putting that time towards video games
This is making
by
me
themselves and at
depressed.
home. So we've gone from all these social activities that put us around other people.
Come on, man.
to
Just
solitary
you
activities
gotta
that
have friends and do all these social activities still. Please.
isolate us away
Please do.
by
It's,
ourselves.
it's
all the time.
amazing.
This
Trust
is making
me.
dating harder in
I don't go to bars or clubs or party, but I do everything else.
a bunch of ways. For one, all of those activities used to be how we met people. You've probably
Yeah,
seen this chart of how
exactly.
couples have met over the years. It's actually from an academic study, but adapted by a Reddit user. Anyway, everyone knows about the rise of meeting online, right? But I think just as important is this huge decline in meeting at bars because we don't go to them, or at work because we don't see those people socially, or through friends because we don't have as many and we don't see them as often. And if you're too young to have experienced the time before dating apps, meeting potential partners socially the old-fashioned way,
Excuse me, miss. You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss.
Yeah, I'm lucky
just
that, well,
fun. You
lucky.
know-
Everybody can do that. I go to the gym like 5 days a week and I train. I have a few clients right now, right? It's a part-time thing. I don't want to do it forever, but I do approach, girls at the gym. My success rate isn't, that big, but it's much bigger than online. And I go out with friends. I've got a few different friends from a few different towns because I've moved cities throughout my life. Well, I've moved once, but yeah. And, I've met people from work, from different parts of, from different jobs I've had, and from college, and from the gym. And usually when I go out with people, usually when I go out with my fitness friends, I guess you could call them, they usually don't like going on bars and stuff. They like walking on, some trails or to the park. Usually we do that. Most of my friends have girlfriends, but usually if I find someone attractive, all of my guy friends are like, go and fucking, if she is alone, right, alone, without a obvious boyfriend, I do approach, and I have a much higher success rate compared to online, dating. But sadly, embarrassingly, most of my dates have been because of online. It is what it is. I don't like it that much, but most of the time I'm at home.
nothing happened.
Work
It felt exciting.
and doing
in a way
steps
that
on the
swiping
walk
never
pad.
can.
Okay, one drink, but I'm buying.
Okay, but it's an open bar.
It could be a coworker, friend of a friend of a friend, a classmate, teammate, a random stranger at a party. You feel something, you make a connection organically.
Yeah, now if you do this at a party, they'll. What just happened to me? Now if you do stuff like this at a party, a lot of people are really weird and like, oh, what a creep. Especially if you don't look as good. But if depends on the party, I
This
guess.
is kind of just gone. And it's why dating went from fun and joyful to sterile and tedious. It's a
Yep.
chore on your phone between your work email and the social apps giving you anxiety. But there is
Yep.
another reason that our era of isolation is making dating terrible. This is another set of charts from John Byrne Murdoch at the Financial Times, using numbers from a long-running study to track how often people in different age groups make and follow through on plans, persevere in things they set out.
Wait. Makes plans and follows through age 60? God damn. God, holy shit. Okay, let's see. 2020. Perseveres until finished. What does that mean? Perseverance. Average agreement with different descriptions of self. Perseverance until finished. Easily distracted. Yeah. I'm also can be careless. Interesting. Everybody is like basically the same, but the youngest generation is like, yep, I can be careless. I don't give a shit.
To do, are easily distracted, and so on. These red lines track people under 40 over the last decade. Look
Yep.
at this. Think about dating someone like this. We are getting so used to a world.
I've made a lot of plans with, a few girls, and they've ghosted me, and I was ready and about to go out, and they didn't call me or text me back. That was fucking depressing and made me cry. Wanted to jump out of the window, but I just went to the gym. Luckily, a gym close to me works 24/7.
Convenience and solitude. Everything being
I'm not
catered to
lying.
all the time. That we are getting flakier, we're getting less attentive, we're getting less reliable. And these are all traits that make for less appealing romantic partners. Here's another set of results. Tracking the degree to which people are helpful to others, that they're trusting, that they start arguments. Look at people under 40 again. Distrustful, argumentative, more and more antisocial. That's it for the Financial Times charts, but look, you simply can't understand this topic without John Burberdick and the FT, so give him a look. Anyway, all that time alone, at home, on our screens, our social muscles have seriously atrophied, and that makes dating harder twice over. First, because potential mates, the people you're going on dates with, are probably getting less agreeable and less sociable, which makes them kind of a bummer to go on dates
Holy,
with.
like, my guy, like, he is so on point with this. Like, you'll see dating shows online, and even some of my experience have been the same, where, like, she's or he's gonna reject you over the dumbest fucking decisions and criteria, and it's like, oh, he's this in horoscope, or the way she, I don't know, picks up the fork. What the fuck are you talking about?
If you were typical of most people,
And everybody's so egoistic. Everybody just wants to prove themselves right. Sometimes you can just question stuff, like I do, say that you don't know enough. And even if you think you do enough and you're very egoistic, just fucking leave it on the side and listen more and question more instead of just, you know, trying to stop the person mid-sentence as fast as possible to say your opinion. Listen and ask more. God damn it, people. Don't be this, like, argumentative.
After 40, you were probably less sociable.
He's
and
so
less
right on
agreeable,
this.
too. It's like trying to swim the English Channel after not exercising for a year. Of course you're struggling. All this to say, when we lament dating apps, I think often what we're really unhappy with is the culture of isolation that is pushing us onto those apps. But there is one thing that we can blame on the dating apps. And that's something that I once saw described, and I love this coinage, as the Zillow effect. If you go on Zillow or any listing app, and you search...
I'm not from the US, but I'm on Zillow so often.
Say Brooklyn apartments, you will get a zillion.
I'm just interested in real estate.
You could click around for hours. Because even if you find a listing you like, what if there's a better one out there? And once you start applying to places, well, it's frictionless to apply online, so why not apply to a bunch? Anything that looks interesting.
This is way too fast. Let me see some of the
These are the
apartments.
people who have to receive,
Let me see something and cry about it.
Anything
Like, come on,
that looks
come on,
interesting.
something. 5,500 is like
means that the
insane,
people who
but
have to receive and process those listings get like 1,000 inquiries. This experience sucks. Everyone has so many options that sorting through
couldn't
them
see
becomes
any
a
listing,
huge, stressful
the
task in
prices and
itself.
stuff.
And that landlord has enough applicants that they can hold out for someone with perfect credit and super high incomes, which makes the system feel rigged for everyone else. This is what the apps are doing to dating. Imagine you're on a dating show. Classic formula is you choosing between 3 suitors, and it's hard. You spend the show getting to know them, weighing your options.
It was so unmemorable.
What time? Unmemorable? Oh.
And the whole premise of these shows is
God
that
damn,
it's impossible.
that's like the average woman with, like, after going on a date with 18-year-old me.
You couldn't possibly judge
The average
and compare
girl.
3 romantic prospects that quickly. Except now imagine you're on this show, but instead of 3 suitors, it's 30, or 300, or 3,000. You would break. Your brain actually does something really important. It changes into a different gear when it's presented with this many choices. And it goes from judging each choice on the merits, like looking for what it likes and the smaller, manageable number of choices in front of you, to when it's overwhelmed, focusing on filtering those choices. Your brain starts using shorthands, no to this, no to that, to rule people out with the goal of getting it down to a manageable number. But on dating apps, you never get to a manageable number because the options are infinite. You're always in filtering mode, so all you see are the negatives, the things that you're filtering for. If your filtering brain can only see negatives, you feel discouraged and disappointed by what's out there. You certainly never get to see these as real individual people, which makes you feel alienated and hopeless. And it makes them feel judged and rejected. And even if you do match with someone, have a good couple of dates, in your mind somewhere, you're still aware of your infinite options, that there's always more to filter for the optimal ideal match.
That's why I've got way more success, like, in real life. It is what it is.
On some level, this is happening. This is from those testimonials.
Like, so many people, men in this case, because I'm a man, obviously, right? I hope it's obvious that I'm a man. And there's way more attractive and rich men than me. But on average, there's way less, like way less men, especially, you know, the younger you get, that approach women in real life. And even if I'm not the most attractive guy or the richest guy, I do stand out because at least got up, like went up to her and said something dumb and made her smile or made her scared. I hope not the second one.
Of young women fed up with dating. Anytime a person had limitless options all the time, there is this perception that who they're with isn't good enough. It's a lot easier to churn and burn, to advance.
No, I'm the same. I know I'm not good enough.
And then
I don't think there's a good enough person.
This is the real problem with dating apps.
Correction, there's not a great person. There's tons of good enough people. I don't think I'm good
Our
enough.
brains evolved for a world where we might meet 100 other people like ever. Maybe, I don't know, 10 of those could be potential romantic partners, 20. We're just not equipped for infinite, limitless, endless choice. And it brings out our worst. But there is a better way, a better bargain for how to meet and date one another. This is a study that measured relationship satisfaction in couples from 50 different countries around the world. And they also track levels of intimacy, passion, and commitment. Here are the results for couples who met online. And here are the couples who met offline. Yeah, look at that. More satisfied, more passionate, more committed. This is
Nice.
not just about
This
dating
makes me
apps
feel
being
good.
annoying. There's something about meeting in person that is just different. And I know
Hell
nobody's
yeah.
at bars or
I
whatever the
told
way they
you.
used to. Scenes like this one from old movies.
I mean, I don't have to tell you, you're a human. You value stuff more in real life than online.
Fun, but they look crazy now. So
Looking at New York on Google Maps and in real life is not the same. Same with
how are
dating.
these elusive online daters meeting? I think it's because they already know each other. Go back to that study on changing attitudes toward dating. One line really jumped out at me. Younger Americans appear increasingly interested in dating people they already know. And get this, young adults are more than twice as likely as seniors to report they were friends with their partner or spouse before they started dating. They actually have numbers to back this.
Yeah, a lot of the time seniors also, I'm not a senior, I can't say with certainty. Nor have I seen stats, not that I trust every single statistic. For this video, I chose to trust just to entertain the video, right? No, I don't know, stuff might be wrong here, but everything he said actually does make sense. I just don't know why he mentioned that. You know, men, he did mention, and is right, that men still want the traditional 1950s woman, and this is why this causes one of the problems. But he didn't mention that also women want the traditional man, but doesn't fucking exist. Like, anyway, seniors a lot of the times end up, let's say, I don't know, they're lonely or, you know, the loved one died. They are way less picky because, well, they've got less options. And they choose being with somebody, they value being with somebody over being alone much more than just choosing based on all this criteria. So, yeah.
Look at these red bars. Every generation, the percentage whose partner started as a close friend is going up. The word is out in
makes
the
sense.
street. Sick of swiping, hate modern romance, date your friends. Date your friends. Or, I don't know, your...
Are you 60 years old? Did your husband or wife die? Look at your closest friends who are also lonely and start dating them. That was a dark joke. I really wanted to do it and I'm sorry, but you shouldn't get offended because that's reality. And I think that's good that people do that, by the way. I think that's good. I'm not against that. I think that's smart.
Teammates if you do a club sport, or your coworkers, which is what I did. There is, and I can't believe I'm showing you this, actually video of us on a podcast together right after our first date. And we're with our boss, who we were trying to keep it a secret from. And I think you can see on our faces that, yeah, this is a little scary. It's not as emotionally safe as an app, but also that it's exciting. The reason dating someone you know feels scary and exciting is because you already have a real relationship with them with real emotional stakes. You care. But that's what dating is supposed to be. You're supposed to take a risk on investing in a relationship that you care about.
Yep, and a lot of us are scared of commitment. Yep.
Infinite bits of biographic data on an app looking for the optimized set of variables.
Yep.
That means going back to this, the then and the now of how we socialize. We are living this one. But if we can shift back toward this, we are going to have a lot more real-life connections with real-life human beings who we might fall in love with. Bars, sports clubs, parties, these things all still exist. But remember, we spent the first half of this video talking about the big problem that's specifically plaguing dating between straight men and straight women. The bargain that doesn't work anymore, that's got more and more women understanding.
Oh, interesting fun fact I just found out. When it comes to relationships and marriages between two men, you know, gay couples, they're on average way more successful than a straight man and female couple. And two females, and you know, a female couple, two women married usually are way less. Marriages between two women are way less successful, and they're like the third out of all of the three. That's interesting. Yeah, that makes me look like a women-hating guy. I fucking love women. Okay, it's just a statistic that I've seen. It might be wrong, it might be right, but I've seen it many times, and I think it's funny.
Saying no thank you. But what if we changed it? Get rid of this, since men aren't really providing it anymore anyway. But get rid of this too. All this extra work. There. Doesn't that look better?
Yeah.
Just to be clear on what...
And combine everything. I mean, when I say combine everything, you know, split the paychecks as much as you can. When I say split I mean bills, right? And of course, if one makes way more than the other, you know, it kind of makes sense. I'm always gonna try to make more than her, but if she makes more than me, it is what it is, right? And also childcare, cleaning up at home, cooking. I'm also gonna do that. Doesn't matter if I make more or less or equal as her. I don't give a shit. Like, just make all the tasks, you know, important between both of you guys. Yeah, you're gonna be better at something as a guy or as the girl. Who gives a shit? You just, you know.
It's equal split on housework, childcare, making money, everything. And I don't mean it has to be 50-50 exactly. You can each specialize.
Looks like I'm more of a liberal when it comes to these kinds of things.
But I think if we've learned anything here, it's that women...
Because I don't hear conservatives talk about stuff like this, in this way.
Could not be clearer that this mandatory gender-specific home duties is a deal breaker for them. Rules out career, rules out hobbies, passion projects. The world has changed, and this doesn't fit it anymore. But this does. And all the better if you are friends first. And if you want to have kids, it's got to look like this. Straight men, since you were the group least happy with dating, I have some advice for you. And I'm sorry, I know everybody has advice for straight men these days, but this is informed by hard
It's cool, man. He's an actual married guy, so I would take advice. I don't care.
Whatever energy you were going to put into looks maxing or whatever, which, by the way, is a solution to a problem that does not exist. It's for a world that only feels this superficial because after...
No, looks maxing to a certain point. You know, doing it naturally. You know, going to the gym, eating healthy, doing skincare is fine. And even, you know, getting a hair transplant, which I'm planning to get. I've said it so many times. I think that's fine. But when you're going on the route of taking roids and destroying your health and all of this and, you know, crushing your bones with hammers, nah, bro, chill. Yeah, that's too far. And if it just overtakes your whole personality, women aren't just, like, she doesn't want you just for your looks. Like, she likes to laugh. She wants you to have hobbies that are, you know, interesting and fun and sexy, you know?
Overwhelm was a choice.
Imagine your whole life being just the gym or just looks maxing.
Your toilet regularly, towards vacuuming. I'm serious. Or toward making and spending time with friends. Actually, that last one's not just for straight men. That is for...
And family. I'm looking at everybody. And myself on the camera lens right now. I spend time with family. Okay.
Everyone. Because after crunching all the data, looking at the surveys, the trends over time, psych studies, testimonials, I think we have learned 3 things about how to fix modern dating. Socialize more in person, equal status at your home between you and your partner, no gender job duties, and date your friends. Look, I'm not joking around here. This is what the best data we have says is the answer to modern dating. Yeah, that's the thing with a lot of people that have male and female friends, because I have female friends, a few, right? I'm not really interested in, you know, there's a reason why we're just friends, you know? And I think it goes the same for them. I don't think dating friends is like, maybe if you secretly both have a crush on each other, but that's not the case for most male and female friendships. I'm talking about real friendships, not hookup ships or friends with benefits ships. You know what I mean? Yeah, I 100% agree with what he said. I just think he also should have mentioned that we know women are also looking for a traditional man that doesn't exist anymore, and that men are looking for the same thing, and that he was right on that. But on everything else, yeah, I agree. So yeah, Max Fisher, go and subscribe to the guy. Not that I can just boost his subscribers. You know, I'm a huge fucking YouTuber. Yeah, it is what it is. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. I basically mentioned everything. I basically said all of my opinions. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, and have a nice day. And subscribe to my channel, for God's sake.